Hello everyone, welcome to Samiksh Academy. Let's read today's newspaper. See here, in a first selection process for next Chief Election Commissioner, cast wider net. So this is important in the context of Chief Election Commissioner. As you all know, the current Chief Election Commissioner, Rajiv Kumar, his tenure is going to be ending in the month of Feb, mostly the second week of February. So in that context, as we need to go for the next election commissioner, Chief Election Commissioner in that context. But here you must understand some subtle changes. As you all know, in the year 2023, we have come up with the Chief Election Commissioner and other election commissioners appointment conditions and services and terms of office act. So as per this, there will be a selection committee. Now this selection committee will be choosing members not only from the secretary level officers from within the election commission, even outsiders also. Though most probably this Ganesh Kumar, right? He might be being chosen as the chief election commissioner by the selection committee headed by Prime Minister, Cabinet Minister, and leader of opposition, right? But the important aspect here is they might even go for outsiders. So in that context, I think we should understand this particular headline. Next, if you go to the next headline, Prime Minister would trust us for world trust us for peace. I tell Russia and Ukraine, Israel and Palestine. So this is also important in the context of yesterday's statements of Prime Minister when he addressed the members at the Pravas Bharati Divas event that happened in Odisha. World needs Buddha, not Yuddha. So in that context, you can just understand this particular thing. Next, this is important. Amid Lieutenant Governor Omar Rift, J&K remains without Advocate General. The reason being why it is important, as you all know, recently, after the abrogation of Article 370 and making Jammu and Kashmir as union territory, elections took place and the National Conference formed government there. But now we are seeing a rift between Lieutenant Governor and the Chief Minister. This issue is important in the context of federalism, right? In terms of sharing of powers. Yesterday also we discussed about the issue between Lieutenant Governor of Delhi and the Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal. So in this context, in polity, in federal relations, you can just have a look at this particular issue. The relationship between Chief Minister and the Governor and Lieutenant Governors. Next, this one, 2024 was hottest year. This we will discuss in detail. Just in a while, we will discuss about it. Just have some time. And before that, the reason why I highlighted these ambassadors, as you all know, right? Pre-LPG era manufacturing of cards. For that, it acts as a symbol. People also consider it as Babu Ka Gadi, right? Like what you call, uh, whenever we discuss about bureaucracy, Lal Batti Ka Gadi, right? A car with a red beacon light. We used to remember about ambassador car. Understood that. So in that context, as you all know, in the recent past, they wind up the operations, and the last two ambassadors they also they turned off the ignition. So just in that context, this second phase a continuation, but this is important. It's an updation of this SpaceX mission, space dock experiment. As you all know, India is going to create history and going into the club of USA, Russia, and China. Only three countries till date did the docking experiment. India is the fourth. India is the fourth country that is going to be joining in this particular group, right? As you all know, India is planning to go for the International Space Station of our own, right? In that context, this is important. It's we already discussed yesterday, day before yesterday. Just to follow it up. This again we will discuss 2024 why it's called as hottest year. Again, this is up the continuation of the first phase, and this is again bomb scares at Delhi schools. It's keep on coming in the recent past. So in that context, I feel you just need to tap the issue. Next, again this one, suspected Al Qaeda operative arrested near Ranchi by Delhi police. The reason here is Al Qaeda, as you all know, at one point it was sensational terrorist organization when it was headed by Osama bin Laden. Later, the position was taken over by Islamic State, ISIS, we used to say, right? But still, we have the remnants of Al Qaeda that are being operated across the globe. And in that context, with respect to terror activities, just have a look at it. And okay, this is just this one mostly about Delhi elections. Again, this one, yeah, this is a little important. Rahul Gandhi appears virtually before Pune court granted bail. I think you know the issue in 2023 when Rahul Gandhi visited London. There he passed some comments with respect to Veer Savarkar, VD Savarkar, and those comments angered the followers, and eventually a complaint filed against him. So because of that, he need to appear virtually in that particular issue, right? Because he is the leader of opposition, it's better to have a glance about it. Next, yeah, this is very, very important. Very important. Which one? PM Modi to visit France in February, take part in AA summit. So, A Action Summit is going to take place in France, right? So, in the context of artificial intelligence, also this particular issue is important. At the same time, in the broader context, in the India-France relations, this particular issue is important. Why? Because in the recent past, we are seeing strengthened relationship between India and France. So France is in the context in one way we can say it like France is acting as a gateway for India to enter into Europe. Okay. So we are maintaining very good relations not only in defense and space but also in civil nuclear areas, right? So France is very much helping in terms of technological transfer. So we purchased the Rafale fighter jets from France itself, right? So at the same time, this Horizon India roadmap. So I think you all know India is planning. We have an agenda called as Viksit Bharat. By 2047, India wants to become a developed country. So in that context also, so France is planning to provide some kind of support for India in the name of Horizon 2047. So in that context too, we can understand this. Again, another important news. This is with respect to Singapore. As you all know, Singapore president on India visit from Jan 14 to 18, two skilling packs on table, right? The most important thing here is the president Tharman Shanmugaratnam. Why it is important this particular visit? It marked 60 years of India-Singapore relations. As you all know, Singapore is one of the major destinations for India's FDIs, foreign direct investments. Most of the investments comes from Singapore, Mauritius, Cayman Islands, right? Most of it in the recent past, Singapore is dominating that in terms of foreign investments. So at the same time, as Singapore is having a lot of capital, not only human capital, financial capital, but technological capital, it is planning to share some of its skills with India. So in that context, see here, skilling in semiconductor sectors in Odisha. So Odisha is having a lot of natural resources. So in that context, so they want to further explore it. And you must also know another important factor here. Singapore is India's largest ASEAN partner. We have 10 ASEAN countries. Among them, Singapore is the largest partner. So in that context, I think you must understand the relationship here. Fine. Next, another important thing. This is with respect to the state of Tamil Nadu. Stalin struggles amid growing challenges, alliance differences to governance gaps. Right. So the reason being why we need to discuss, along with discussing about the good sides of Tamil Nadu, we must also understand the kind of issue the state is having. So in the recent past, the state is in the news for all wrong reasons. Right. There are issues like police high-handedness. Right. And huge tragedies. And this state Bahujan Samaj Party President Armstrong, he got murdered. And in the recent past, this surfacing of this particular issue called as Anna University sex scandal, it literally jolted the image of Chief Minister Stalin and the state of Tamil Nadu, right? So in the recent, so that's the reason. So for some wrong reasons, as the state is in the news, it's better to get an idea about it. But the most important point here, I felt the last one, right? Though the chief minister is accommodative, he is meeting people, but chief minister, one individual alone cannot saturate the system. We need to tighten the nuts and bolts. Who are the nuts and bolts here? The bureaucracy. So the bureaucracy must be streamlined. So then only the system can function. One individual cannot do any kind of miracles because no individuals will have any magic wand to change the system. So this is what we can understand from this. Next, this I think this is the continuation of the from the past few days follow up. I think both Rajasthan and Uttarakhand we have largest reserves of soapstone in the country. Soapstone, the one that we use for powder, talc, right? So, but though High Court of Uttarakhand issued a ban on soapstone mining, but still photos are surfacing, right? Demonstrating that still mining is being continued there, right? As Himalayan ecosystem is very fragile, if this kind of things continued, it may lead to landslides and eventually impacting the livelihoods of the local people itself. So in that context, in the context of environment, man versus environment, we should understand this particular issue. You can use it in GS paper 3. Right. Again, this is important. Indian diaspora integral to vision of Exit Bharat by 2047. Day before yesterday, Jay Shankar, Indian diaspora acting as a living bridge. Yesterday, Prime Minister, right? India needs Buddha, not Yuddha. Today, President, Indian diaspora integral to vision of Viksit Bharat by 2047. All three during the event of Pravasya Bharati Divas. The key takeaways, right? We must understand. So this is with respect to H-1B visa. Trump said to take office. Indians in US say cautiously optimistic. So why? Because they are planning for a lot of what used to call the slogan America first. So it may impact the immigrants. So in that context, some of them are worried. So this is with respect to an interview about from this Trinidad and Tobago president. See here, what is the plans to map blue collar workers who migrate abroad? So just pay attention to that particular issue. Just headline. Next, okay, this is also Vaishnav 50 Amrit Bharat trains to be manufactured at ICF Integrated Coach Factory. Okay, just headline. Yeah, again this one. Again, West Bengal. It's in the wrong. It's in the news for wrong reasons. Right. Earlier also, with respect to the Razakar sexual assault incident, and again here, public pregnant woman dies. The reason, one of the reasons they mentioned is the saline. So here the issues are with safety and public health infrastructure. Understood. So in this context, you can use it in GS paper 1 with respect to women, GS paper 2 with respect to social justice, in GS paper 3 with respect to overall healthcare sector. In essays also, you can use this information, right? The condition of healthcare sector in the country, what we have, how much we need to spend. Again, see this. This is another, see the interesting headline. Class 3 girl, right? Class 3 girl dies of cardiac arrest. So, need to pay attention, right? Has not even seen sun's face. Here it is about the issue of fishermen. I think you all know, with respect to Sri Lanka and with respect to Pakistan, there is always one issue that keep on poses a challenge to our uh, diplomats is the issue of fishermen. Because fishermen, when they enter into the international waters, sometimes if they crosses the lines, right? So they will be in the hands of either Indian forces or the other forces, like the Pakistani forces. So eventually they are landing in the jail. In the recent past, we see since 2021, 53 fishermen, right? 53 of them are landed in jail. Understood that. And whenever there is this troubled issues, like Sarkarek issue, so India is also having claims over it. Pakistan is also having claims over it. When these fishermen fishing in the troubled waters, so they are being caught by these forces. Eventually, the agony is being faced by the families. Okay, so this is what we should understand from this particular headline. Next, yeah, this is with respect to Kumbh. See, interesting point here. 40 crores devotees. Almost 130 crore. Out of 130 crore, one third, close to more than one third members. They will be attending this. 7,000 crore, the amount we will be spending on this particular project, on this particular event, the 12 years event, the Mahakumbh Mela, that is going to happen in the state of Uttar Pradesh in Prayagraj. Okay. Next, okay, this is okay. Just go through the headline. Yeah, but this is little important. See, as we already discussed few days back, this quick commerce site called Blinkit. It launched this 10 minutes ambulance service. It's a very good initiative, but it will not end there. Mere expansion of ambulance service cannot solve the fundamental problems the Indian healthcare sector is facing, right? For example, be it doctor to patient ratio, bed to patient ratio, right? Or the amount of medicines, the amount of expenditure we are spending on healthcare, right? Hardly close to 2.5% we will be spending, right? Some countries are spending close to 4% of their GDP. So we need to increase the expenditure on public health, right? We have this initiatives like Ayushman Bharat, under which we are planning for this health and wellness centers. But the thing is, we need to provide insurance coverage across the country. So as public health is one of the major thing, because a healthier nation is a wealthier nation. So in that context, it is important. And this is interesting aspect. As we also discussed about it, the L&T CEO, he mentioned the L&T chairperson. Sorry, he mentioned about 90 hours work, 90 hours work per week. Earlier, Narayan Murthy mentioned about 70 hours per work per week. If this is the case, if your people are working like this, it may impact their mental health, right? It may impact their family life. So that's the reason. If you see the statistics here, in Asian countries, the average workouts per week is 50 hours, 49 hours here. In Europe, it is 37.9 hours. Sorry, in US. In Europe, it is 37 odd hours. Still in Asian countries, the work hours are more. Understood. So just some people are using the word corporate slavery. Next, yeah, you can just go through. Yeah, this is important. Why? What breaching 1.5 degree centigrade? As you all know, 2024 is being considered as the hottest year. What happened in 2024? That's the reason for which it's being considered as the hottest year, right? Along with continued increasing levels of pollution, there are other factors also responsible for this increase. That's what International Maritime Organization and that European Center for Medium Range Weather Forecasting. So their main argument is that if you see in the year 2024, on one side it's an El Nino year. You know, when there is an El Nino, there is a reversal of this Walker cycle in the Pacific Ocean. It eventually leading to uh, less amount of rains, right? If in because of this less amount of rainfall, on one side it increases the temperature. Another important aspect is in the recent past what happened in the in this particular Tonga in South Pacific Ocean, right? There happened to be an eruption of volcano that increased the temperature. Third, this is very interesting factor. Usually, this shipping industry, the ships when they sail through the oceans, they release lot of sulfur dioxide because of the consumption of the fuel. So because of the heavy releasing of the sulfur dioxide, it may lead to acid rains. With this reason, this IMO, International Maritime Organization, it argued it came up with measures to reduce sulfur dioxide. But the trade-off with this was that because sulfur dioxide levels got reduced, it indirectly impacting this increasing temperature. Why? If there are more sulfur particles in air, it actually act as reflector. If sun rays comes, right, it will reflect back. It won't enter inside the atmosphere, so that they will act as the trappers. But because of the recent initiatives, because say on one side you're planning for good, the other side it is leading to another aspect, a negative aspect here. So that's why because of the decreasing levels of sulfur dioxide, it is actually negatively impacting the temperature. It is actually creating more warmer than reducing it, right? Next, fourth one is again in 2024, Sun completes its 11-year solar cycle. 11 years, for 11 years it will be in high cycle, for 11 years it will be in low cycle. So like this. Here 11 years, here 11 years. So because here it completed the 11th year in 2024. Because for every 11 years, the magnetic poles will change. Eventually, the degree of intensity of temperatures inside the sun. So that also changes. So because of that, along with this continued existence of the pollution, these four factors, El Nino, this volcanic eruption and the sulfur reducing levels of sulfur dioxide and the sun solar cycles. So these factors, they made 2024 to breach that 1.5 degrees of the pre-industrial level average of Earth's temperature, right? So that in that context, this article is important. Next, again, as you all know, LA facing wildfires, Los Angeles, right? Again, the reason here is high amount of heat in 2024. Just we mentioned no amount of rain and Santa Ana. What is Santa Ana? Santa Ana is a dry wind, right? So this dry wind, it blows from Great Basin towards California because it's a dry wind. So whenever it flows towards California, whatever water vapor is there in the nearby forests, it will suck it up. So because of that, the whole area will become dry. When it's fully dry, it requires very small ignition, right, to start the fire. That's what happened. Understood that? So this is what we should understand here, right? So climate change may play this kind of role in the coming future in lot many areas. So this is what we should understand. And this again, space crunch threats natural tendency, right? Why tigers go on long walks? I think just few days back we discussed about this West Bengal and Odisha thing, like one tiger from Jannat, right? When she crossed Odisha and entered West Bengal, there it created some kind of havoc, and eventually West Bengal government has to catch it, and the National Tiger Conservation Authority instructed West Bengal government to hand it over to Odisha, right? To that to release it in the Simlipal Reserve, right? So, in that context, why these tigers are moving? One of the reasons is space crunch, threats, and natural tendency. They have that natural tendency to move at the same time this with the space crunch. So, in that context, I think you just need to go through the headline. Rest factory output growth hits 6 months high. This is good initiative. This is a good thing, good news for us. And next one, private insurers show jump in motor commission. Okay, just headline. And again, this is a matter of concern. Rupee falls further, just shy of 86 rupees dollar mark. Again, we need to make this observation. Next, okay, again, this one. Niti Aayog exploring ways to find balance between government and corporate debt markets. Why it is important? Because if government alone gets all the debt, then what about the corporate sector? Corporate sector also equally needs the debt to finance for projects. So in that context, we need to balance both. So see the here the main point is we are giving more. If we give more funds to corporate market, we need investor education. That's what SEBI needs to do. Okay. So this is what this Niti Aayog chairperson Suman Berry has to mention. Again, with respect to SEBI, fundraising from capital markets may raise. So capital markets may increase the funding. So that's what Madhavi Puri Buch has to say. There is a correlation here. Again, no jail or fine for Trump in hush money sentencing. Okay, just headline. Okay, again, this is important. Venezuela's Maduro sworn in for third term. Third term, right? So heavy stability also might not be good, but continuously one government is being formed means it's a concern we should understand. Again, Venezuela is important in the context of crude oil. Again, this one Canada Liberal Party, this Chandra Arya MP from Nipan, right? So he is also planning to contest as a prime ministerial candidate. As you all know, the news about Canada, Justin Trudeau, he resigned as a prime minister. Now, some new person has to be elected. So, in that context, it is in the news. Have a look at it. This is how Musk is trying to break Germany's decade-long quarantine on far-right AFD. I think you all know in the recent past, Musk, he's passing comments on Germany, he's passing comments on UK. But in both the cases, the interesting fact is he is in line with the right wingers. So in that context, just have a look at that. Next, okay, this is just a movie related thing. Okay, okay. New era heavyweights. Just see this one. Djokovic claims being poisoned during COVID-19 detention in Australia. Okay, just pay attention to the headline. Next, Malaysia Open. That's it for the day. Right? That's it. Thank you.